All right, let's get the latest from the scene with SABC News reporter Lopang Alamu. Lopang, a very good afternoon to you. So what is the very latest from the building collapse? Any official word on the update about the status of that particular building? We understand it was a student building. All right, in fact, we're not going to talk to Lopang. In fact, there's a media briefing. Let's listen in.
And 2 men were very seriously injured. And then the walls collapsed and part of that building fell down. So that's what I know at present.
As the Democratic Alliance, are you concerned when it comes to the management and maintenance of infrastructure in the city?
Yes, I'm deeply concerned about it. I'm deeply concerned about it. And I've just heard, but again, I haven't confirmed this. So I must say that I have not confirmed this. I've heard that it's not the first time that there's been overheating at this transformer, with consequences, but this time the consequences were apparently much worse than the previous time.
Ms. Tanzila, now that you want to come back as a mayoral candidate, what difference are you going to make?
Well, all I can tell you is that we will root out corruption, and I have a very strong idea that this type of thing may be linked to corruption, but I want to confirm that first. I really have to confirm that. But I have read a lot about the maintenance of this kind of infrastructure and the extent to which maintenance contractors make sure that they can come back and maintain it very shortly after that. I'm not saying any more than that, but I'm saying we will eradicate corruption, whatever it takes, and we will make sure that the money goes to where it's supposed to be going, and we will ring-fence funding for City Power and Joburg Water and the other utilities.
Well, this is the second incident in the city of Johannesburg. Remember the one that happened along Bree Street. From you as a mayoral candidate, who do you think might have dropped the ball in this? Or is this an escalation of negligence of buildings or what?
From the information that's been given me on the scene by the experts that are there, I can make a deduction. But I'm very nervous about making a deduction until I'm sure. Because sometimes you can add 1 and 1 and get 11 rather than 2. So I've got to first confirm whether my deduction is correct or whether it isn't. I've got to get far deeper. But from the experts on the scene, there's some experts there. They have some deep concerns about it. But I'm not going to spread any false information until I'm dead sure of what's going on.
And from the party's point of view, lots of students here, young people.
Well, Alicia, I think we're going to leave it there for now, as we have just heard the City of Johannesburg DA mayoral candidate for the 2026 local government elections, Helen Zille, addressing us here, saying that she's had a word with the inspectors on the scene, and she's really just reiterating what we already know, as we heard from Robert Mulaudzi a little bit earlier on, who confirmed that 4 people were indeed injured when that transformer exploded. What she also just told us now is the fact that that particular transformer is exploding for the second time, the first time not as bad as the one we've just seen. She also did confirm that 2 people were seriously injured, and a number of people would have seen those videos circulating on social media where 2 of the gentlemen who were affected by the explosion were just laying on the ground. We do know at this stage that 3 of those who were injured were security guards. I am just going to hope that we can see those visuals from there. I'm going to move out of shot, and our colleague Sipho Mnguni gives you that visual. Now, that part of the building is the entrance of this apartment building, and the 3 security guards were patrolling, or rather just really situated at the entrance of the building when the explosion took place, which would then explain their injuries, as well as a tenant. Now, Robert confirmed that it is a student accommodation residential building, and as things stand, a little bit earlier on, we actually saw some of these workers trying to remove the rubble. It was quite a difficult task for them, and as things stand, they are waiting a TLB from what Robert has mentioned to remove the rubble, just to ensure that there isn't anyone who's currently stuck under that rubble. But as things stand, everyone has been accounted for. There hasn't been anyone coming forth to claim or rather to report a missing persons case from those who live within that particular building. And they're just really waiting to ensure that they double check that there is no one who is currently stuck under that rubble. But as things stand, the situation has been maintained. That transformer fire was extinguished an hour or less after the fire had started already. And as things stand, they're just really waiting to see if that TLB construction vehicle could come and remove the rubble at a much quicker rate. We did really see those men trying to remove that rubble, but you'd also notice the structure is quite big. It might take quite a while, and it also needs a lot more reinforcement, a lot more construction vehicles to assist in removing that part of the building. You'll also notice that the rest of the building is really fine. So that transformer that exploded was at an outside storage facility. Now that would explain why the rest of the building was not affected. But also, quite interestingly, we noticed the impact of that explosion. On the other end is a building that was affected by that explosion. Some of these windows were broken by the explosion. We literally saw the glass that was shattered on the ground, and someone who also owns a factory on the same street not too far from here saying that some of his windows were shattered as well, the windows at his factory. So as things stand, no one has come forth to claim that there's anyone under that rubble. But because the emergency services want to ensure that they just really double check. Quality assurance, from what Robert told us, is the next approach in the plan of action. And, you know, some of the issues that really have been going on for years in the city of Johannesburg, dilapidated buildings. We've seen quite a number of buildings that have worn off, unsafe for people to live in. And those are really the questions that a lot of South Africans are asking themselves going forward. What will it take to restore the city of Johannesburg, to ensure that it's a city that people can occupy without having to be worried about the health hazards, without having to be worried about a collapse having taken place, without having to worry about their safety generally. And I think we will leave it there for now, Alicia, as we continue to track the story. It's back to your studio.
Lopang, before I let you go, if you can still hear me, I mean, have you been able to, I'm not sure if the gentleman that you spoke to earlier on is the actual owner of that actual building, but talk to us about that. What is also building maintenance saying in this regard? And at this stage, city officials should have also been on the scene. What is the official word from them about this building in particular?
So no word from City Power. What we do know at this stage is that the emergency services have taken this case, and it is now under investigation by the City Power officials. We also did see quite a number of detectives coming in and out of the scene to try and figure out exactly what it is that happened. We also did speak to a gentleman, the first man that we spoke to, who's an eyewitness. He is not the owner of the building. We have not been able to get in touch with the management of this particular building. And I do know that they've had a word with police officers, they've had a word with emergency services people. So no word from building management, but the management of the buildings opposite, the buildings next to it, have come forth to also let us know that they have tried to assist as much as they can. And all those who are affected will be assisted to whatever extent that they might need help. But as things stand, no one's room has been affected at this stage. The rooms and the homes seem to be intact from what we're seeing. Now, we have not been able to go any further than this barricade here, and we cannot at this stage confirm whether or not the damage inside the building is as bad as the one we are seeing right now at the entrance of the building, as well as the fact that we've been trying to find out if there is any other way of entering this building. It seems as though the part of the building that collapsed is the entryway as well as the exit of this building, Alicia. So some of those details that really do need to be investigated, those details that need answers. I think we'll leave it there for now. We'll continue to track the story and possibly get more information. But as things stand, 4 of those who were injured are currently in hospital and receiving treatment. Alicia, I think we've managed to cover all the bases regarding this particular part of the story.
Much to SABC News reporter there, Lopang Alamu, live to us at the scene in Doornfontein at a collapsed building.